Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Doc here to talk about our next Wednesday haul. So what did I get from the store? A bunch of books, a bunch of awesome books, some more so than others. But let's go ahead and talk about my comic haul for this week. All right, first off, I killed Spider-Man. Oh no, wait. No, that's just the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 65 Point Deaths. A lot of these point issues are pointless. They just don't add anything to the story. But in this issue of 65 Point Death, I really feel like Derek Landry and Kev Walker actually brought heart to this story. People have complained that it feels like a filler in between Joe Kelly's initial run and then them restarting over with a new issue, number 1, after issue 70 comes out. So this story is a story of the redemption of Spider-Man. Spider-Man has seen so much death, so much destruction. He's lost so much. And in all that time, nobody has really been able to see the pain and the suffering that he's gone through. But Phil Coulson, now the embodiment of death, tries to get into a headspace to see what Peter has seen and try to help bring him back. Because at the end of issue 65, Peter tells Stephen Strange, no more. I'm done. The inevitability of death is something that I can't overcome. Every good deed that I do, every bad deed that I do, every forgotten moment with Aunt May, every forgotten moment with Mary Jane, with all of my cast of characters, is worth nothing. Because in 200, 300, 400, 1,000 years, my life and all of my deeds will be forgotten. So death and the inevitability of time marching on stops for no man. And in this issue, Phil Coulson is trying to get to the heart of who Peter is. And in doing that, he sees all of the pain, all of the suffering that Peter has dealt with over the years. But he also sees that without those deaths, he would not have had the energy, the wherewithal to fight and to always get back up, no matter what the odds are. He would never have been as strong without that. And he also learns something about himself. He learns that he saw death at a young age. And death speaks to him and says, who are you that you can see me and I don't want to be seen? And so Coulson learns about himself. He learns about Peter. He learns about the inevitability of the weight of all of our actions as well as inactions. And he comes to find that Peter is so strong, but in this moment, Peter is all right, but the spider is broken. So this issue to me was a very strong issue. Like I said, whatever issues are normally pointless, but this one had plenty of story to tell. So if you are thinking about skipping this one, I would say not. I would say that Kev Walker provides some awesome and very solid artwork in this issue. We got, to me, it feels almost like a Mike Wieringo type of Doctor Strange here. Very similar. But overall, like I said, you get to see the sacrifices. You get to see Gwen and her death. You get to see the death of the Goblin. You get to see Aunt May's death in Amazing Spider-Man 400 from the first run. You see all of these failures, but you see them in really great artwork. So I would definitely say check this out. All right. Next up, we have Feral by Tony Fleeks, Trish Forstner, Tone Rodriguez, and who? Brad Simpson. Okay. So in this issue, we have the cats and the cat lady. And the cat lady, we have not seen her face as of yet, but in this issue we do. And we realize that she's sick, just like all of the cats are. She probably doesn't have the same rabies disease that the cats have, but she is not well. She is not well at all. So you have Elsie and Lord and company, and they're all trying to escape from this woman's house. And they end up letting out a bunch of rabid cats. And in the process, the lady gets upset and puts them down in the basement and says, you're going to go down here and learn a lesson, and you can come back up here when you've learned what you're supposed to learn. And all of a sudden, she brings another bag of kittens down, and in the end, where did it go? In the end, we see that she's not moving because she might have had a little bit of a spill. So, now what? Because the cats are all trapped in the basement. The woman, is she alive? Is she dead? Is she really the crazy cat lady that everybody thinks that she is? Or is she really just trying to save all of these kittens from something far worse? This book just gets stronger every issue. I cannot say enough good things about how Farrell has reached out and touched me. I was always a dog person, but when I got with my girlfriend, now my wife, back about 5 years ago, then she introduced me to how loving and how sweet cats can be. So it can be hard to read sometimes when you see terrible things happen to these cats, but you have to realize that it's just a book at the end of the day. And, kind of put your heart to the side a little bit. But don't put your heart to the side as far as the story goes, because they have crafted an amazing story, and I am so glad that they brought Farrell out as well as the original miniseries of Stray Dogs. Okay, next up we have G.I. Joe, issue 3 from Skybound, an Image, written by Joshua Williamson with art again by Tom Riley. And we have a continuation of this story where Clutch is hiding as a Viper, and you get to see Cobra Commander. You get to see a fight between two of the Joes trying to vie for superiority. And at the end of the day, then you get Stryker who has to come along and say, hey, just stop this and shake hands as men and let's go. That's enough of this machismo. Let it go. Meanwhile, I've got to go call Rock and Roll's family after what happened to him in the first issue and let them know. So you get to see Clutch given a little bit of information here, and you get to see a doctor who G.I. Joe has to save in order to show off this brainwave machine. And, of course, Cobra wants to get their hands on it, thinking that they can use it to control people's minds. They can rewrite brain waves and take what was formerly a good person and turn them quite evil. So this series has got the energy that I think a Real American Hero had when it first started, and I'm not bad-mouthing Larry Hama. I just don't know that I can go and read 312 issues to get caught up on that entire saga. This, on the other hand, is fresh. It's got a new start to it, and this will bring in a whole new set of people to the ideology of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is a timeless treasure, just like Transformers, just like He-Man, just like Brave Star, Rom, Space Knight. They all came out from the same era. And G.I. Joe is an everlasting thing, partially because, America. We all love America, and we love what it stands for, and we love to see the good guys win, and 9 times out of 10, G.I. Joe does win over the forces of Cobra and the forces of darkness. So, if you hadn't picked this title up, you're still early enough that you don't have to worry about getting a trade. Just go ahead and grab the first 3 issues, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. All right, the next up is Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum, and we're going to talk about this book more in depth when we get into initial assessment. But this is written by Jeremy Adams with art by Ken V. Marion, and it is absolutely a drop-dead gorgeous book. And the story by Jeremy Adams just won't quit. So we'll talk about this in another video. All right, Minor Arcana, we end up getting out of the main story of the female lead, and we get to see Bud, who was her grandfather 40 years prior, and the struggles that he goes through. He goes through doing the same thing over and over and over. It's go to work, go to the bar, go home and spend time with his family, go to work, come home and spend time with his family, go to the bar. And he asked himself a question of, why are the things that I have, why are they not enough? Why can I not be happy with my family? Why can I not be happy with who I love and what I want to be and what I've always wanted to be? Why can't I be more? And he also feels that something bad is going to happen to him, but he can't quite put a finger on it. And he doesn't know what it is, when it's going to happen. But all of a sudden at the end of this book, and I'm not going to spoil that for those that haven't read it, something bad does happen, but it doesn't happen to him. So this book just keeps getting stronger with each issue. I kind of miss Phantom Road from Image with Jeff Lemire and Gabriel Walta, but I really think that Minor Arcana is the stronger of the two books. So if I have to see one continue on, then I would rather see this one continue on with that art by Jeff Lemire. So you get moody colors, you get these emotions. It's a simplistic art style, but at the same time, it gives you the emotion that you're missing in a lot of other books that have more cross-hatching and more physical detail to the artwork. Instead, you get a real story here. You get a treasure trove of story potential. So if you haven't had a chance to check out Minor Arcana, I would say do that via Kindle. I think we will probably end up having a trade after issue 6. But if you want to read it now, like I said, try Kindle, try ordering it from your local comic shop, order it from Amazon, and you should be able to get caught up relatively quickly with this awesome, awesome story. All right, we're continuing on with The Moon is Following Us, and we have a tale of life, death, and betrayal. Our friend here is not nearly as nice or as sweet as he seems to be. So you have the frog, and you have just all-out war. You have Sam and Duncan, and for some reason they're weaker than they have been. So you're trying to figure out what's going on with that, why they can't seem to pick up this bomb to drop it where they need to. And at the end, you get a set of heroes that are very, very unlikely. But they come in a last-ditch effort and in a moment that desperately needs hope, and they provide that hope. So issue 5 continues this amazing story by Daniel Warren Johnson and art by Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo, colors by Mike Spicer. It reminds you of how important it is for you to stick by your wife or stick by your husband, because together you can destroy things and face enemies, face negative consequences and situations that singularly would destroy you and you wouldn't be able to overcome. But here we see the love that Duncan has for Sam, even though Sam still treats him like crap. But they both love their daughter. They love Penny, and they want her to survive, and they want her to get better. And the only way that that's going to happen is if they work together to save her. So this story is very poignant, very heavy, but also shows the love between parents and a child. All right, our next to last issue here is The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 105. We have this really creepy cover with Carl revealing his eye to Negan, and we get to see Negan. Gotta be careful with the word bubbles here from Negan, because Negan doesn't go on one or two word bubbles without saying some nasty stuff. But the last issue, Carl killed a bunch of Negan's guys, jumped out of the back of a truck, and shot a bunch of guys with a rifle, automatic rifle. And so Negan is introducing himself and showing Carl around where the saviors are at. And he goes and gives somebody some unneeded, I would say, punishment for his wife, who is one of Negan's wives, choosing to cheat on Negan and go back to the man that she was married to. So this just continues showing how much of a complete dick Negan was in the comics, and how unlikable a character he was, even though they tried to redeem him by the end of the series, and even the TV show tried to redeem him by the end of the show, but he was just so dark a character. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But it also makes for exceptional reading. So we're over issue 100. We are pretty much way over the halfway point for this series from when it originally ended with issue 193. So deluxe editions, it's in color, no longer in black and white. You get a little bit more story, I think, for that. It's an extra $1 from how much the original issues were. They were $2.99 a piece, and this book is $3.99. But I think that the colors that are provided by Dave McCaig, the artwork by Charlie Adlard, and the writing by Robert Kirkman more than make up for that extra $1. All right, and the last issue we're going to talk about today is, oh, look here, Vertigo is back, baby. The Nice House by the Sea, issue 5. It finally came back. We have an interesting conversation between Walter and Max, where we get to learn more about their relationship and the fact that Max is not human, just like Walter is not human, but Max doesn't feel for his housemates that he is creating here like Walter did. Walter actually opened his heart up and learned from these people. He learned and he loved and he lost when things happened to them. And you've got this amazing artwork by Alvaro Martinez Bueno, as always. And you get to see so much emotion and so much love and hate in these characters, and what they're going through, and the emotional pain. Look at that. How cool is that you get to see the dog prints go through the page. And then you get a monologue here where she's talking to Walter and she's saying, why didn't you tell me everything that was going to happen? And as she goes through, she gets angrier and angrier until the storm builds. And then the dog comes to her and she's like, I don't want this dog. This dog's not enough. You're not even a real dog. And that really hurts Walter. So you get to see all of these different conversations going on at the same time in this one book. And I have to say, as much as I love the writing in this book and the story, it's very complex. And just like Nice House on the Lake, I feel the necessity to go back once this is all finished, all 12 issues, and go back and reread the whole thing in one fell swoop, and I think I'll get a better understanding of what's going on. So it's nice to see this book back, and it's nice to see Vertigo back. So James Tinian IV, Alvaro Martinez Bueno, and Jordi Belair finish off this week. That was an awesome stack of books, and it was just a great read. What did you guys pick up at the shop this week? What is exciting you? Did you pick up any new number ones? Did you read the Fractured Spectrum? Are you excited about that? Or does sorrow still make you chuckle like a lot of people when they first saw it? So let me know. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you thought about my thoughts on these books. And I look forward to catching you guys in the initial assessment video here very, very shortly.